Hello, everyone. This is Sarah Zakaria. I am the Associate Director of Alumni Relations at University of San Diego. I'm also the advisor to the Young Alumni Network. I'm excited to have you join us today for our Young Alumni Network webinar, Digital Marketing 101. The USD Young Alumni Network is an official affinity group of the USD Alumni Association, dedicated to providing professional development and social networking opportunities for USD alumni who graduated within the last 10 years and are under 35 years old. First, I would like to thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to join us this afternoon. Before we begin, please be mindful of the following. Today's webinar is being recorded. Access to the replay of this webinar will be found on the USD Alumni website and the University of San Diego YouTube channel about 2 weeks from today. So if you need to step away from the webinar or are interested in reviewing it at a later time, the archive broadcast will be posted. On your screen is a control button with a chat area where you are able to ask questions. Questions are very welcome, and Jessica is looking forward to hearing what you have to say. So please submit your questions and we will answer as many as time allows. If you experience technical difficulties, please submit concerns via the chat area. In the event that we all experience technical difficulties during today's webinar, we will attempt to resolve the issue as soon as possible. If we are unable to do so, we will reschedule the session and an email with the new date and time will be sent. Without further ado, I would like to introduce today's presenter. Jessica Tishue is a digital marketing consultant and mobile app strategist. She's also the founder and teacher of the 3 Pillars of Online Conversion and owner of Disruptive Marketing LLC in San Diego, California. Her clients include Apt Mobile, Ringo Starr, Sensible Bags, Trice Imaging, Toll & Co., Toll & Shaw, and others. Jessica completed a bachelor's degree in communications from the University of San Diego and with a minor in international business. While at USD, Jessica Tishue was the award winner of the 2011 Social Innovation Challenge and was featured on MTV for her project Peace Food. She was also the first prize winner in the 2010 Go Green Challenge and nominated and inducted into the Acala 100 in 2011. Jessica believes that business is not just about helping yourself. True success stems from helping others. Welcome, Jessica. We now turn the time over to you.
Hi, Sarah. Thank you so much for having me today, and thank you for that amazing introduction and everything that you did to facilitate this webinar today. Also want to give a special thank you to University of San Diego and this amazing opportunity and all the opportunities that they provide alumni. And Aaron from the Alumni Association who also helped facilitate this. And last but certainly not least, thank you everyone for joining me here today. So before we get started in on the webinar, I wanted to take a moment to get to know you. I want to understand why you joined us today. Is there a particular challenge that you're facing, an opportunity that you're going after? You can see the chat window here in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. Take a moment to chat me and write me why it is that you joined here today, and hopefully I can touch upon some of these examples in the webinar. So Laura, you're looking for opportunities in your small business to help better market and increase sales? And and so for the second comment we have here is how can I best reach potential clients online and how do I screen for those who are looking with no intent to buy services? So in this webinar, we will be going over how do you reach clients online and how do you qualify leads and nurture them through the buying cycle so you can optimize your sales and your conversion. So be on the lookout for that. Some great responses, thank you. We're going to get started here in just one moment. Just want to give you another minute to type your responses below. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started. So today we're going to be talking about what digital marketing is, why it's important, and how you can benefit from it. With so many aspects of digital marketing, we're going to be going over one of my favorite and most effective. I'm going to be teaching you how to build a content strategy. And then once you have the content strategy in place, we're going to go over how to sell better using content, how to maximize your ROI using this content strategy. And number 4, we're going to have a quick recap. It's a lot of new information for some of you, so we're gonna go over the highlights of the webinar, and then we're going to conclude with a Q&A. And at the end of the webinar, Sarah will post my contact information for any of you who have still lingering questions or want to get to know me better. Feel free to reach out. So let's get started. So before this webinar, Sarah mentioned that we have attendees who graduated all the way from the 1960s all the way to 2013, so quite the mix. For those who graduated in the 1960s, at that time marketing was more catalogs, print ads, billboards, and it has evolved over time into TV, radio, and websites. And today what we're seeing is a very dynamic atmosphere of digital marketing. And there's many ways and many buzzwords you may have heard, such as PPC, content strategy, inbound marketing, mobile marketing, video marketing, word of mouth marketing, strategic partnerships. So we're going to go over one of the most effective strategies, but before we get into that, I want to talk about why digital marketing is important. So we're getting more and more connected with the emergence of technology. There's 10 billion connected devices, and 90% of the world's data has been created in the past 2 years. By 2020, there will be over 50 billion connected devices. So that begins to paint a picture of where we're headed and why digital marketing is really important and why we should get into it now. So you may be wondering, why is there this picture of this dog riding in this vehicle? Well, imagine that you're this happy puppy smiling at the vehicle, and digital marketing is the vehicle to take you wherever you want to go. Whether you want to create more awareness for your nonprofit, you want to grow your small business, you want to better your strategies, qualify your clients, whatever it is, digital marketing is the vehicle to get you there. I had one client who came to me. He was laid off from his job. His skills were lacking. He really wanted to hone in on some skills in the digital marketing field so he can become more relevant. So we worked together. I taught him SEO, analytics, and PPC, and that's the job that he now has. I had another client who came to me. She was the first ever mobile ultrasound technology, and she wanted to go global so she can really bring her ultrasound technology into third world markets where it's really highly needed. And so she was able to accomplish that after attending my class. So right now I'm going to get into building a content strategy. And why it's important is because it really allows you to cut through the clutter and be heard. And for those of you who don't know, content marketing is a facet of digital marketing, and it's any form of marketing that involves creation and sharing of media and publishing of content in order to acquire customers. So content marketing costs 63% less than traditional marketing and generates more than 3 times the amount of leads. So before you get started in your content strategy, the most important thing you can do is create your business plan. There's so many people that I've worked with that has spent thousands upon thousands of dollars and have gotten nowhere. And a common thread I have seen with these people is they're investing money on a hunch. They think they have this amazing idea, they think it's going to disrupt the market, so they get excited, they get impulsive, and they invest all of this money and they don't get an ROI and they're frustrated. Why didn't this work? So we're going to go over the 5 key things you need to have in your business plan. Number 1, do your research. Doing your research and researching the market begins to tell you, is there an opportunity here? Is it worth even investing? I recently had a mobile app project where I had to define the opportunity and the target audience, as well as come up with some product requirements. And so University of San Diego actually has an excellent resource for this in their business library. I was able to access a lot of their great databases and have some really great research. Number two, define your audience. We're going to be going over this, and I'm going to be giving you an example here in just a moment. Number three, analyze your competition. What are their strengths? What are their weaknesses? Are there opportunities for you to provide value for the market where they're missing? Number four, define your value proposition. After doing your research and seeing what the competition's like, what the opportunity is like, who the audience is, and really asking yourself who you are as a brand and a product, define your value proposition. Who are you and what makes you unique? Number five, define your key performance indicators. Is it, if you're an organic juice company, it may be numbers of bottles sold. And when we go over in the webinar towards the end, we're going to be talking about analytics. You want to be tracking your key performance indicators to see what's working, what's not, and where do I need to pivot to make sure that I'm boosting sales. And one of the biggest differences between traditional and digital marketing is the ability with digital marketing to real-time track with analytics what's working and what's not. So you can maximize your efforts, save time, and maximize money. So I said we were going to be getting into defining your audience. And in a template that I use for this are called buyer personas. Buyer personas are a brief narrative of who your customer is. They tell us exactly who we're creating content for and why they will buy from us. So there are 5 key components you want to include when you're defining who your audience is. Who are they? And things you want to look at are, what's their age group? What's their demographic? Where are they from? What's their average household income? I really get creative with this when I'm defining my personas. I type up a few paragraphs tracking them from where they were born all the way to where they are now in their life. I really paint a story of who they are. So, and I include a picture in the template to really build that relationship and really that understanding of who the customer is, so that when I'm crafting my marketing message, I really craft it to them in a way, in a language that they will understand and that they identify with. You're not going to craft the same marketing message for a 22-year-old female as you would a 55-year-old male with a physics degree. Number two, what are they looking for? Why are they coming from you, and how are you going to serve them? Number three, what kind of content do they like? Do they like ebooks? Do they like visuals? Do they like infographics, video? What kind of content do they engage with? And there are many tools online for you to discover this. Number four, what kind of content don't they like? Do they absolutely despise ebooks or infographics? Because if they do, you don't want to involve these mediums in your strategy. And number five, how do they engage online? Are they active on Facebook? Are they active on Twitter? Are they active on what social media outlet are they active on? And are they creating content? Are they the influencers, or are they consuming content? So we're going to walk through an example of a buyer persona to help bring this knowledge to life. And as I'm going through this, if you have your notebook ready and at hand, please go through your own example and bring a persona to life. So please meet Active Andy. Active Andy is a Southern California resident. He is 29 years old and he's really into hiking and surfing and yoga and waking up each day and living life to the fullest. So Active Andy is looking for a bottled organic juice to fuel him in between surfing, hiking, and flowing through his asanas. But with so many options, he doesn't even know where to begin. And I don't know about you, but when I'm looking to get more information on a product or a service or a company, I immediately go to Google. In fact, 90% of Americans go to search engines when looking for information prior to buying a product online. So with that said, you're going to really want to be sure that you're getting found. And we do this through what we call search engine optimization. And search engine optimization is the process of affecting the visibility of your website in the search engine. And the idea behind this is the more frequently your site appears, the more visitors you'll have, and the more visitors, the more chances you have to convert them into a sale. So let's get into that. So Andy begins his search and he types into Google bottled organic juice. And this phrase right here, bottled organic juice, is called a keyword. So So when you want your website to get found, you want to craft a list of keywords. And Google AdWords tool is a great tool for you to research keywords. But something I really suggest is get in the mindset of your customer, get in their shoes. If you were your customer and you're looking for a solution to a problem, what would you be searching for? If you are maybe searching for a nonprofit, is there a specific cause? Is there a specific keyword phrase that you may be looking for? So get creative, brainstorm, pretend you're your customer, and come up with a list of about 10 keywords, and then go into the Google AdWords tool, and you can find more information on Google about Google AdWords and how to use it, and see which keywords are the best ones to um, go after. And then on your website, you want to be sure to include these keywords. But you don't want to overwhelm your customer with keywords where to the point where it starts to begin to sound robotic. You want to have extremely rich descriptions on your website and your target audience language. And you'll understand their language after defining their persona like we talked about. You would speak a different language to that 22-year-old female than that 55-year-old male. Or to active Andy, we'd want to be sure if we're the bottled organic juice company, we're speaking in a language that really jives with him, that also includes keywords, so he knows that he found a website that is going to meet his need. If we're a bottled organic juice company, we're not going to be saying, oh, we make mixed drinks, because then he might think, oh no, this isn't quite what I'm looking for. So number 3, be specific. Really, in very simple terms, define who you are and what you offer so that within 10 seconds when people come to your website, it is clear they know who you are, what you offer, and what to do next. And number 4, set your site up for success. Make sure in your breadcrumbs, in your headers, in every facet of your website is infused with the keywords so they resonate with Google search engines. And Google search engines, their algorithms changing where they're becoming more textual. So it used to be a high emphasis on keywords, and now they're getting smarter where they're looking at all avenues of content on your website, your blogs, your infographics, the writing on your website, everything that you have, they're taking into consideration when boosting you in Google search engines and saying, yes, this meets the person's need, or no, it doesn't. So once the person has found you, it's great. Active Andy, he came to the website, he found you. How do I give them what they want? So you want to craft your content and you want to distribute it based on one of the 4 avenues of the buying cycle. So this right here, what you see pictured is the buying cycle, and it has 4 steps to it. Number 1 is the awareness stage, where you're going to educate your customer on who you are and what you offer. This is where your value proposition really comes in handy. Number 2 is the consideration phase. People want to know, okay, are you better than the competitor? Why should I buy from you? Things that are important here are making sure that why you're unique and why people should buy from you is communicated. Other things that come into here is extra value content. Are you providing value? Are you providing rich blog posts, which we'll be going over here in a moment? And number 3 is the purchase phase. Things that help push the purchase quicker are things like rich content and discounts, and making sure that the purchase process is as easy as possible. I've seen quite a few websites who have really long checkout processes, and so most of the leads, they had really great leads, they were excited to buy the product, they were getting ready to check out, and it was over 6 pages. And so what happened? A majority, more than half, abandoned their cart. And so that's more than half of the less sales that they could actually have. And number 3 is repurchase. A customer who comes back and makes a purchase over and over again is worth a lot more. Their lifetime value increases. Not only that, but the opportunity for them to tell their friends about your product, your brand, or your nonprofit increases. Therefore, they're doing the marketing and their work for you if you're creating a really great environment for them. And so you do this by following up with them, having really amazing customer service, and even providing extra value through content or an online community. So, talking about the first stage of the buying cycle, Annie stumbles upon this website, Suja Juice. I'm not sure if you've heard of Suja Juice, but they're an incredible website. They do an excellent job at marketing their product and their brand and providing value for their customer. So, Suja Juice, as you can see here, really educates Andy on why their juices and smoothies are amazing, and they talk a little bit about their special process. So when Andy's saying, okay, should I go with this juice company or should I go with the competitor? Oh, I'm going to go with Suja Juice because they have this special process, and I'm really looking to get the maximum freshness out of my product, and I really want to have the best nutrition possible. So right now, Suja Juice is the leading option. So, so educating with content, what we just talked about, is kind of like the first date, or that first impression before you can get that first date. It's, are you attractive? Do I like what I see? And do I want to go on a date with you? Next, we're going to court with content. When you're on the date, to get that second date, you need to reveal stuff about who you are. You need to engage them, tell them stories, really connect with them. So it's no different for your brand, for your nonprofit, for your small business. You want to use content to paint the picture of who you are as a brand, what makes you special, and why they should go to you to fulfill their needs. Why should they have a relationship with you? And Suja Juice, again, does an amazing job at this. I really encourage you to check their website out after this webinar and their social media pages. They're more than just a juice company. They really understand their target and that they're looking for health solutions to maximize their workouts and have optimal health. So some of the content they provide is they talk about the power of turmeric, and they encourage the use of turmeric and how it's amazing fuel. They also go over workout tips, and they give weekly workout tips. And for someone like Andy, this would be, really valuable, and he's going to say, wow, I'm getting great content, and I'm going to keep engaged. I'm going to stay in this relationship with Suja Juice, even though I may not be buying their juice company today. So it sets Andy up to come back and make that repurchase. So what we're talking about, building a relationship, educating, and courting with content, is really what we're doing here is we're nurturing leads throughout the buying cycle. Companies that excel at lead nurturing generate 50% more sales-ready leads at 33% less cost. So you may say, great, I understand content marketing. I understand why it's important, but I'm new to this, so where do I start? Where do I get ideas for content? So my number one recommendation is listen to your customers. Is there any way you can have a conversation with your
Jessica?
customers?
Jessica, you are
Talk
cutting
to
in and
them.
out.
Mhm. Thanks for your feedback, everyone. So like I said, you may understand why content's important, but you're saying, where do I start? Number one, listen to your customers. Have a conversation with them. Find out opportunities where you can provide value for them with your content. Um, maybe talk to Active Andy, find out which workouts does he like, where are opportunities where you can provide value. Number two, you may be tight on budget or even time, like many entrepreneurs, many business owners, many marketers. So have your customers create the content for you. And you do this by gamifying their experience by setting up contests via social media and give away a prize and set up a contest for customers to create content for you. And the great thing about this, it saves you so much time and money, and it cuts out the guesswork. It's ultra specific to what their needs are and what their interest is. So chances are, if a good majority of your customers like the content that they created, others are going to as well. Number three, empower your staff. Just like you might gamify your customers' experience, gamify your staff's experience. Have them write blogs for you, have them write social media posts for you, and turn it into a game. At the end of the month, whoever attracts the most amount of new visitors to your website or generates the most amount of sales wins an iPad or something. Get creative and get fun. Everybody loves a good challenge, and definitely people perform under competition. Number four, repurpose content. This is a great way to again save on time and save budget. You may have some great brochure materials or even a video that can be repurposed into a blog post or an infographic that could be repurposed into a video post. So get creative and look for ways as to where you can um, repurpose your content. So some of you may be asking, okay, what is the best form of content? So right now, the most popular is video. Video is 53% more likely to end up on Google ranks, and leads are 85% more likely to buy after watching a video. This is a pretty compelling statistic. So while video is really hot, it's really popular right now, I really want to remind you to always always be mindful of who your target audience is and what content do they engage with, because your target audience may not like videos. An older generation may want more credible articles, case studies, ebooks, so maybe video does not work for them. So really understand your target audience, and always your customer takes precedence over any trend. So we dove into content strategy, how to set up the basics. So you're in your flow, you've created your strategy, you've got your keywords, you're beginning to put content out there. So you may be asking, how do I maximize my efforts? How do I get my most bang for buck? So we're gonna be going over that now. So one of the most important things you can do if you want to maximize your efforts is leverage your social influencers to grow your brand. 5% of social influencers grow up to 70% of your brand's social activity. So social influencers are those people who are advocating for your brand, or people active on social media, making posts, doing Yelp reviews, and they can be people who are directly engage with your brand, or you may have a list of social influencers such as YouTube celebrities. I don't know if how many of you have seen that, but there are quite a bit of, YouTube celebrities who have hundreds of thousands of followers. They may be potential social influencers that you want to go after to help leverage your brand. And the great thing about talking to them is they help build credibility, ethos for your brand, and that helps convert other customers. So how you approach the social influencer depends on your relationship to them. But I always recommend offering them an incentive. Incentive in the case of the social influencer doesn't always have to be monetary. In fact, most social influencers love influence. Maybe invite them to take a behind the scenes look at your office, or to um, influence some of your product requirements. Maybe they name your next product. Sometimes having influence rather than gifts is more important to the social influencer. And just have a conversation with them and find out really what they hope to gain through your relationship. So next, we're going to talk about analytics. We talked about the difference between traditional versus digital marketing. With digital marketing in real time, you can check your analytics to see what's working, what's not, so you can make pivots quickly, so you save time and you save money. And a great tool for you to utilize is Google Analytics. And I absolutely love this tool, and I use it for all my website analytics. And one of the best things about Google Analytics is that it's absolutely 100% free. And important things that I always pay attention to is, of course, the amount of visits that are coming each day, each month, each week. It depends on how often you're tracking, where they're coming from. Are they coming from Facebook? Are they coming from Instagram? Where are they coming from? Because that tells me, are my social efforts effective? Okay, so maybe if I'm putting um, $5,000 a month into my Facebook strategy and $5,000 a month in my Instagram strategy, and I see that 90% of visitors are coming from Facebook and only 10% are coming from Instagram, I may want to move the budget around and take some money from the Instagram strategy, quite a bit from it, and put it into the Facebook strategy so I can maximize traffic. Other things I look at is what are the key pages that my visitor is landing on, which pages are they paying attention to most, and how much time are they spending on those pages. And do I have any pages that I really want my customer to spend on time on, which they're not. Because if they're not spending time on a page such as the products page, or they're not even making it to the donation page for a nonprofit, I'm going to say, hey, I really need to optimize my website, and maybe I need to redesign some components of my website. Um, and with Google Analytics, you can set up all sorts of goals. We talked about in the beginning, creating a list of your key performance indicators and what they are. You can input those into Google Analytics and say it's a sale, or for your nonprofit, say it's a donation. You can see how many people are actually making those donations out of your total amount of visitors, and always look for ways you can improve that. So we went over in quite a bit of detail, content strategy and how to maximize your content strategy. So I want to do a quick recap before I open up the webinar for questioning. So number one, know thy business. It's absolutely essential for you to know who you are as a business, and one way we define this is through business plan and doing research. Number two, know thy customer. That's the most important thing. If you want your customer to buy from you, you better know them inside and out, and you better be speaking in their language and giving them what you want. And we went over defining a buyer persona and how to do this. Number three, get found. So you have a great product, you know your customer, now you want to make sure that you're getting found. And you do this through search engine optimization, and providing content that's enriched with keywords, things that your customer may be looking for. Number 5, use the buying cycle. Leverage the 4 stages of the buying cycle to nurture your lead through a purchase and then a repurchase. Number 5, court with content. It's so important to date your customer, to establish a relationship with them so that they come back to you again and again, and so that they tell their friends about you. So when active Andy is thinking, I need an organic bottle of juice, he immediately goes to Suja, no questions asked. There's not anyone else in his mind. He has a monogamous relationship with his brand, Suja Juice. Number 6, leverage your social influencers. These are the people who are talking about your brand or people that you want to be talking about your brand. And I have a great blog your social influencers. These are people talking about your brand or people who you want to talk about your brand. And remember, this is so important because 5% of your social influencers can generate over 70% of your brand's activity. They can grow your reach. They can help you build credibility, and they can help you generate new leads that are going to end up in a sale for you. Number 7, one of the most important things to do is take the time to look at the analytics. Really take the time to see what's working, what's not working, so you can pivot quickly before the competitor does and really optimize your brand messaging and your brand offering to meet their needs. So I want to leave you with this. If you don't, somebody else will. A lot of you may have some really amazing ideas and have invested quite a bit in your business. But the market's competitive, and if you're not looking at the analytics and doing your due diligence and making sure that you're staying competitive, somebody else will do it. So always put energy into what you're doing, and use some of the strategies that were taught here today to help you really reach your target audience. So let's get into the Q&A. So I want to open up the conversation. Feel free to chat at me any of your questions. I'm sure this raised quite a bit of questions for some of you.
Thank you so much, Jessica. I'm sorry about some of the sound issues. I personally had some sound issues, but I see several people are typing right now. Jessica, do you want me to read off the questions, or are you happy just answering them? I'd like to thank you for an amazing content. I learned a lot. I think you did an incredible job. So we'll conclude. Thank you to everyone for your questions and participation, and we'd also like to again thank extend a special vote of thanks and gratitude to our speaker, Jessica. In addition, I'd like to thank the Young Alumni Network's programming committee for reaching out to Jessica to do this webinar. I'd also like to invite you to attend a few upcoming events. We have Alumni Day at Fowler Park coming up on May 3rd, an Alumni Happy Hour featuring the Young Alumni Network and Engineering on May 14th, Santa Barbara Zoo Brew on June 7th, and Party at the Polo Fields in New York on July 13th. Lastly, the recording of this webinar and the PowerPoint slides will be posted on the USD Alumni website a few weeks from today. And thank you again, and have a great day.
Yeah, thank you everyone for joining, and Sarah for hosting this. And some of you may find that while you don't have questions right now, as you're going through and applying this new knowledge to your real life situations, that questions may arise, and they're not going to arise until you're really working through the information and getting stuck. So at that time, feel free to reach out to me. Again, here is my contact information. Here's my email. Reach out to me on LinkedIn, and check out my website. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thank you, Jessica. This was amazing.
My pleasure.